The diversity of the wildland fire environment requires firefighters to select tactics that best fit the situation. This video describes a mobile attack, also known as pump and roll or running attack, an engine tactic that when conditions and terrain allow is a fast and effective suppression method. The specific techniques of mobile attack described in this video are demonstrated by the Douglas Forest Protective Association, headquartered in Roseburg, Oregon. The FPA's protection encompasses large areas of rolling oak savanna, prime conditions for the mobile attack tactic. In this environment, cured grass is a major fire carrier, and rapid rates of spread can result in large, fast-moving fires if not quickly checked. Much of its landscape is drivable, making mobile attack a viable tactic. The basic idea behind mobile attack is straightforward. The engine is driven in the black along the fire's edge with a nozzle operator walking out in front of the engine and in full view of the driver, spraying water onto the base of the flame and checking the fire's advance. This is a classic anchor and flank technique using advancing engines as the primary method of suppression. While this tactic is not complicated, there are a few important factors to consider. Attacking any fire up ahead, grass fires included, is a watch-out situation. Whenever possible, begin work up the heel or on a less active flank of the fire. If there isn't an obvious anchor such as a road or an area of cold black to begin from, create one with water. Spray out an area of good black, making sure your wet line is continuous with no gaps in coverage. Make sure your anchor is broad enough to keep the fire from flanking you in case of a wind shift. This may mean spraying a short distance up the opposing flank. When choosing a flank, consider the values at risk. Work the flank that has the most potential for fire growth. As you begin flanking the fire working towards the head, keep the nozzle operator within sight, 10 to 15 feet in front of the engine. As a driver, you should be able to see the full body of the nozzle operator, including their feet. Monitor your side mirrors for rekindled fire edges and progress up the flank. Work from the black. Grass fires can move quickly under the influence of wind and slope, and burned over areas typically cool quickly, making working from the black the safest place to be. Operating from the unburned side exposes the crew and equipment to greater danger from changes in wind speed and direction and from hazards hidden by unburned fuels. Getting the engine into the black can be accomplished by spraying out a spot to create an entryway and an anchor point to begin work from, or by driving through a flame front. Driving through a flame front into the black is a judgment call and is predicated on a few conditions. If the flame height or flame length is less than 1 foot, the flame front can be crossed quickly, and if the travel time through the unburned fuel to the fire can be done rapidly, then it's a potential option. In both cases, start your pump before leaving the road. If you have to drive through the grass tall enough to hide hazards in order to reach the fire, have the nozzle operator walk out in front with charged hose in hand as a guide. If the fuels are not obscuring hazards, keep all personnel in the interior of the vehicle until it has passed through the flame front and is safely in the black. The following video clip from the 2007 Pioneer Road Fire near Medford, Oregon, illustrates the danger of an improperly executed mobile attack. The Pioneer Road Fire started in grass fields 2 miles south of Medford, Oregon on August 25, 2007 at about 14:30 hours. Jackson County Fire District No. 5, Medford City Fire Department, and Oregon Department of Forestry Medford Unit responded to this incident.
We got approximately 1 acre making a run up a hill.
A fence and steep ditch at the road's edge kept the initial responding engines from entering the black at the heel.
House is being threatened.
The engine was not damaged as it passed through the flame front, and the engine operator and crew person in the cab were not injured. The nozzle operator passed through the flame front on foot. As the engine operator accelerated through the flame front, the hose was pulled from the nozzle operator's hands, leaving him further unprotected from the heat and flame. He received first-degree burns on his face and neck and secondary burns on his hands. He was not wearing gloves.
Command, standby, emergency traffic central. From 8106, we need an ambulance up here. We've got a firefighter injured with burn injury.
Copy, confirming code 3 response.
That's affirmative. Possible airway.
Of greatest concern was the heat and smoke injury to his airway, requiring a hospital stay for several days. An investigation of the incident identified lack of situational awareness, failure to properly brief, and improper implementation of mobile attack tactic as key contributors to the accident. To avoid repeating this situation, regular training and practice are essential. Take the time to practice. Douglas Forest Protective Association has an area prepped for supervised live fire practice when conditions allow. Live fire trainings are a good way to practice mobile attack, but the techniques can also be learned on flag fire scenarios. When setting up scenarios, make sure everyone understands where the head and heel of the fire are, fire behavior, wind direction, and so on. Practice the steps in the process just as you would on a fire so that everyone is clear on their role. Position the engine in the black or from an established anchor. Give a quick size up.
Engine 25 on scene, quarter acre grass fire, moderate rate of spread. We're beginning pump and roll. And you can
Gear with full personal protective equipment. Engage 4-wheel drive. Start the pump. If using the hard line, practice flipping the hose to both sides of the engine. Starting from your anchor point, spray water on the base of the flame using a heavy fog setting. Walking a sprint at a pace that ensures continuous coverage on both the black and the green. Work out in front of the engine in full view of the driver. Progress up the flank towards the head of the fire, continually checking behind for rekindled flame. After encircling the fire, continue to patrol for flare-ups and hotspots along the fire's edge. Work out a few basic hand and vehicle horn signals with your crew members, including stop, back up, speed up, slow down. When working in the burned area, be mindful of parking on or over hot material. If you've driven through a flame front, check the undercarriage to ensure nothing underneath the vehicle has ignited. When training, switch roles, alternating between engine operator and nozzle operator. Train with other engines, coordinating your actions and communicating with each other as you progress up alternate flanks. Practice changing tactics. Place barriers that can't be driven through. Continue flanking the fire with a new suppression method such as hose lays, ladder bags, or swatters. Train with an element of urgency that mimics the conditions of an actual incident. Lastly, take the time to AAR your practice session in order to identify what went well and where improvements can be made.